Okay, welcome KIN 656 graduate students. Yeah, I'm still a Bills fan. So shoot me a message if you see something good or bad happening. I'm sort of keeping my eye on what's going on here. Yeah, and they spelled Bills Bills because we have 4 Super Bowl losses. That's okay. And I was living in Dallas at the time of 2 of them. That was painful because the Cowboys won those 2. All right. Hope you're enjoying your weekend before class. Although by the time you're watching this, it's the start of the week. So I hope you're having a good first few days of the semester. So thanks for enrolling in this class and thanks for the interest. In this class, there are master's and doctoral students. I do not distinguish between the two. My expectations are still very high for graduate students in this class. And I've got some special things to go through for the course for you. First of all, exams. You will take the exams that are posted for 456. All right, 3 points. You'll take the exam for 456, and there will be additional elements for you as graduate students. The final exam will be a take-home format. And what I did last semester, which I really liked, was using video format. So you actually submit your answers in video form as opposed to written. So be prepared for that. We'll probably do something very similar to what I did last semester with 657. So those of you who took 657, you have a little bit of a head start on what that's going to be like. All right. Big thing is for graduate students, know your terminology, your definitions, equations, and units. Take that terminology worksheet, and I strongly suggest you fill it out and memorize all of those terms. We won't go through each of those terms this semester, but you'll need to know them at some point during the semester. And as grad students, you should not hesitate on any of these terms. So it's rote memorization, but bottom line, we need them, and we need them to be able to talk to each other when we do these projects. So know your terminology, okay? And I tell the story in a couple of videos that when I was doing my doctoral work, for sure, that's exactly what I did. Is I started keeping a terminology list based upon things I was reading, and it was really helpful because I was able to come up. In essence, I reduced all the terms that I had for during my doctoral studies into a list that I use for 346 and all my other classes as well. So I literally kept a notebook with me, and as I was doing any reading, I would write down terms that I came across that I felt I needed to know. All right, this TV is getting a little irritating in the background. So I think I'll turn the game back on in a little bit, or maybe I'll check it on my phone while we're going along here. And so I did that, and it was really purposeful because it helped me zero in on being very clear about definitions, equations, and units for terms: power, work, energy. You start with knowing definitions, equations, and units, and then we take that foundation and then start applying it. For example, in this class, we'll talk a lot about power. Power is the rate of work being done for work over time, or force times velocity. Those are 2 different equations, but both yield power. Or in the angular world, it would be torque times angular velocity. The units are watts. All right, so just rote memorization. You got to know those types of things. Now, what is power? Well, we can certainly calculate it with the equation. Well, what I like to talk with people about on power is power represents how fast we're transforming energy from one form to another. And you'll hear me give this example in several videos because it's a very easy example that we live with every day. you know a light bulb that has 60 watts is not as bright as a light bulb that is 100 watts. Why? Because the 100-watt light bulb is transforming energy from the electrical state to the light state faster than the 60-watt light bulb. That's why it's brighter, right? Your speakers, if you look at speakers, their wattage, okay? That the amount of watts that your speakers have tell you how much sound power, sound energy you're generating from electrical energy. And same thing with microwaves, stoves, ovens, anything has a wattage to it. Refrigerators, air conditioners. That's power. It's how fast we're transforming energy from one state to another. And in the body, we're taking chemical energy, fats, proteins, bring it a little bit, carbohydrates, and we're transforming that potential chemical energy to mechanical energy in essence. And the mechanical energy is a force applied over some distance. All right. So we need to know those things. So we need to know rote memorization, the definitions, equations, and units of power in this case, as well as energy and work that I've mentioned, and then know the units. And then we can dive deeper into an understanding of that parameter. And then in this case, power, then we'll start understanding why power meters are, a real critical part of cycling now. Very, very few cyclists that do not have a power meter, or at least understand power. And now power is finding its way into running. There are running power meters. Okay, those are still being developed. The algorithms are still needing to be refined, but it's coming around. And now even swimming. As some of you know, I'm testing out a force measuring device for swimming. And that force measuring device, if I also know the velocity, in this case of the hand, then I'm going to know power. And now I'll be able to measure power while swimming. And again, that's power is going to tell us how fast we're from a concept perspective, how fast we're transforming chemical energy to mechanical energy during swimming to swim faster. Okay. So know your terminology, and then we will be diving deeper into using those terms to understand endurance performance. Okay, the project is a big part of this class. Now, historically, I've done group projects, but this semester I decided to do individual projects. I still toyed around with the idea of 656 forming groups, but I backed off of that idea. And instead, what I am going to do is just encourage you to collaborate with each other. And collaboration could be just talk with each other about your projects, all right? The terrible thing about remote delivery of graduate work right now with this COVID-19 restriction is we lose the ability to talk to each other. The value of a grad program is you learn from each other. Group projects, they happen all the time. And you know that because as you pull up a peer review paper, almost every peer review paper is multiple authors. That's a group project, okay? We need to learn to work with each other. And I go through that in another video, and I hope you pick up on that, is that there's a lot of value in collaborating with your fellow peers. And your peers right now as grad students will be your colleagues in the future, especially if you're in your PhD program, all right? Your peers that you're going to have in this program are people that you will contact years down the road, and you stay in contact with. You follow each other's careers, and even some of your master's students, you will do the same thing. Especially if you go into academics, is that your peers will be your colleagues once you leave UNLV. So it's really important to establish those good working relationships now. Now, I forced that, collaboration by doing group projects, but we're not going to do that. So what I do want to do, this is the second semester for many of you, either in your PhD or your master's program, or maybe you're further along in the program. So you may already know some of the other 656 students. So, self-organize. uh, contact each other and see if you can form, regular weekly meeting with each other or every other week. Connect with each other, talk with each other, ask each other how things are going. How's your project? What papers are you finding? How are you thinking of constructing this 3-minute video? What's the important elements? All right. Those are all great things to talk amongst each other about. All right. In a positive way. All right. If you get going down a negative path, then just shoot me a message and we'll get together and sort of get along with the direction. But really, I want to see if you can reach out to each other. Now, I will have 3 specific dates that we will meet as 656, and we'll all get together. Hopefully, I can find a time. This is an asynchronous class, so we do not have a set time. So I am respectful of your individual schedules. But I do hope that we can find a single time where all of you can get on, or maybe we do 2 different sessions, okay? And we're able to chat about the projects or the class, um, uh, or anything related to biomechanics or endurance performance. Okay, so we'll have 3 of those meetups planned during the semester. Now, I am very open that if you reach out to me and you want to go through something in more detail, or either individually or as a group, send me a message and I would love to get together. Now, again, as get together, it's all remote, it's all Zoom. So all I need to do is come up here, jump on my computer, and we can meet and go through some things and draw free body diagrams, kinetic analysis, whatever it is. So let me know, reach out. All right, project. So you're going to develop your own question, or you can pick one of the questions from the list that I have. That's fine. But if you do develop your own question, or whatever question you do pick, make sure that you focus in on endurance performance and you're focused in on biomechanics. The tendency is, as we become more and more as we build our expertise in different areas, and each of you come from different areas. Some of you have a biomechanics main specialization, but many of you have areas of interest from other areas within kinesiology. So sometimes what happens is we gravitate our projects back towards the areas that we're comfortable in. And that's great. I love it when people pull from their expertise, but you got to come back and do biomechanics. So something you might want to think about doing is kinetic analysis within your project, or mention it. I really one of the keys to this class, or one of the key points that I try to get across in this class, is how to do a kinetic analysis and then the value of doing that. We know Newton's 3 laws of motion. I'm sure you've memorized them, but I will tell you, a lot of people have a hard time really understanding how to integrate those 3 laws correctly. And it all starts with being able to do a kinetic analysis. And so we'll go through several kinetic analyses, and we'll do some simple kinetic analyses, and then build into something more complex like cycling. Okay. But there's a lot of value in doing those kinetic analyses. All right. Someone tell me the score. Hopefully the Bills won. Okay. Collaboration. Yes. And one of the other videos I put collaboration ? I do want you to talk with each other, but at the end of the day, your presentation is your work. Okay. And your work is unique. I have no problem if some elements are shared amongst each other, but at the end of the day, I want your project to represent the work that you did. So I should not see 2 projects that are identical. And likely, even if 3 of you select the same question to do, you would end up with different references, different citations to support your answer for the empirical for the question you're going to take on, and you would have a different set of terms. So So be unique, all right? And you'd have your own innovative idea as well. But collaborate with each other, talk with each other, share your ideas with others, because when you do that, you'll actually improve your project. Because when we share ideas, people start asking questions. And when you hear a question, you're like, yeah, that's a weird question. Then sometimes what that means is maybe we did not do a good job of articulating our point, or maybe someone's not hearing things correctly, and so now it forces us to sort of recalibrate how we're explaining things. Okay, and you got to be a good listener, and you got to be knowing your stuff too in that direction. But really, it is good to self-reflect and see if you are getting across the point that you're trying to make. All right, I think I hit all the points. So exams, project, and specific 656 meetup times. And I do hope that you are able to connect with each other. I'm going to hopefully help that along. We'll meet, I think it's week 3 or week 4 as our first meetup. And then if you don't know others at this point, hopefully that'll be a time to do that. All right, thanks again for registering for the class. I hope it will be fun. I hope you enjoy the videos, and maybe I'll see you out there swimming, biking, or running, because it is healthy as grad students to stay active and exercise and be fit. So don't lose sight that you should be exercising. Okay, thanks everybody.